we are starting a new quilt along on this beautiful quilt by Joan Breece. Orange red thread, because there is this wonderful color. It was kind of okay, so now we've got our filler done on these 3 rows right here. 1, 2, and 3. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 4 passes. I believe it's 4 passes. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go down 3 rows, up, down, up, down, stop there, lock my stitches, come back. Then I'll start here. I'll make the next V pass. And then I will start on the next one that needs to be made until they're all done. And then there are lines through all of the crescents. So I'm going to come up here, lock my stitches. Get my glasses on. Now I'm going to turn down my start speed mode. Pivot. Head up the other way. Now what I'm focusing on more than the actual crescents are I'm focusing on the points of the squares that the crescents are in. Then that'll balance all of the different angles from the piecing, the crescents, the appliqué and the crescents on. That'll kind of balance out any of the lack of straightness. Remember, with a ruler this size, you want to slide your fingers down. You want to keep that ruler nice and flat there. And I'm using my favorite color, which is the baby poop, which I love, which is our isocord number 0232. Seaweed. Or in Glide, it's prickly pear. And I love that color because it kind of goes with anything you're working on. When you're unsure, go with that color. Okay. I'm going to go ahead while I'm here. Knock that little guy out. Lock my stitches. Now we'll go back to the beginning. Start all over again. And again, she did beautiful applique on these crescents. But with this many crescents, you're always going to run across one that might have some longer stitches. And so this is going to keep those stable for many years to come. Go back now. Let's see. Now we're going to start here and go up and down that way. I think that's the last one, isn't it, Rich? One more? No, I don't think so. Don't make me get through this whole quilt and miss a spot. You know what I mean? I've done that. Even sent it off to the customer. Missed a whole row of sections. And I did it, it was one of the quilts that I did on video. Thousands of people saw me do it, and none of us caught it. Okay, so now as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working my way down the border, get that all basted. And so the next thing we'll see is once this quilt is all done, I'll come back to the middle and I'll work my way up and down with the border treatment here in the red area on the side. But let's see some of this beautiful texture as we work our way across there. You can see we've got that wonderful filler in there. We've got those wonderful lines that are going to keep those crescents stable. I really like that. Rich said he would have rather that these stayed whole before I put them in there. What do you think now, Rich? I think they add a lot, don't you? Yep, he said yes. Sort of. Well, there we go. So that is the texture that's going to work through the whole piece. So I'll come back when the quilt's all done, and we're going to start in the middle on the border, and I'll show you how I work that side border up and down. Yay! So now we're down to the bottom of the quilt, and we're doing the bottom border just like we did on the top with the border treatment that we drew out. Round, back, feather, bump, feather, feather, bump, feather, swing around, swirl down on the upper side. One, bump, two, 4, swing around, one, bump, 2, 3, bump, 4, swing around, swing around and down, come down, swirl up, throw in a few feathers, head up, come down, do a little curl in where that would have come in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak up and over and down. And now I'm going to remove about 5 pins at a time. That way it's going to keep tension on the quilt as I baste across the bottom. So I'll pull those back, throw a pin in. Just kind of keep that out of the way. Pull that down, stay in front of the needle. I'm pretty used to doing this, but you got to be real careful not to get your finger under that needle, because this is the place where it'll happen. Let me get rid of some of these. So next what we're going to do is I've just got to go ahead, and while I got you here, we're going to go back to the beginning of the white on this throat space. So we're going to go all the way down to here. Get some of my shrapnel out of the way, sorry. Yes, this is one of those quilts where she is coming at 1 o'clock. What is it? 10:15, and I still have to do the side borders. Okay, so I got my little dot here. Can we zero in? Of the blue, kind of barely see right there. I've measured my measurements, so I'm using my blue line erase. Just a little dab will do ya. Okay, so I've snipped my thread. The bottom is now basted. We've got to do our side borders next, but I don't want all this bulk of the extra batting. So I'm going to go ahead and trim our 2 bats. You do not want to be without, if you own a long arm, these batting scissors are the absolute best. And I'll tell you what, they're pricey, but you only got to buy them once. And I love them because they are only used for your batting. They never go dull. They cut nice and quick, and they are absolutely incredible. Do yourself a favor. Spend the money. What are they, Rich? What do they run about? $50. They're about $50. And we carry them on our website. And there you go. But definitely give them a shot. You will never want to cut batting with anything else. All right. Now, I'm going to roll back, and we're going to start from our center down. I'm going to have you watch me do that. Take off my side clamps. I like using my leader grips. I absolutely love these for the side. I have to replace this plastic part about once a year because I do obviously so many quilts, but it's well worth it. These last forever. And I take off that blue stringy thing, then I just put my clamps right on there. Okay. So you can see the basting, everything is held in place. I've rolled back and forth a few times with the quilt. I got to put my leader grip on the other side as well. And everything is in place, so now I can start right here in the center, do my figure 8, do my few things, just like on the border treatment we drew out, and I'm going to work my way up. and then I'm going to roll. So when I get up as high as I can go, I'm going to stop. I'm going to roll the quilt, go all the way up, and then I'll come back to the middle, go to the other side, start in the center, repeat the same thing. And once we do that, then we'll come back to the center and we'll go down on both sides exactly the same way, so that way we don't have to turn the quilt. Okay, so now I'm going to take out my basting, and I don't have to do a lot. All I have to do is snip threads a little ways away, since they're at 5 stitches per inch, and it's not that hard to take it out at all. All right, so now what I need to do, just like before, is we need to locate the center of our border. So I'm going to grab my ruler and 1 3/4. 1 3/4, give myself a chalk line as a guide. There we go. Come down here. Figure 8. 1 bump, 2, 1 bump, 2, swirl up, backtrack, swirl out, backtrack, feather, feather, 3, bump, 4, swirl in, backtrack, and I'm going to continue this all the way up as I roll the quilt. Okay, so we've rolled. I've gotten rid of my basting stitches, and now I'm going to go ahead, in, bump, 2, 4, two, Okay, so here we go. It is done. It is off. It is a wonderful basic custom quilt job and it looks amazing. Actually, it looks really cool. I love the quilt. The colors are incredible. I love how we did in this section right here, that wonderful feather design and the diamonds. And then up at the top portion, we just did the filler. And then through these, again, at first I thought I was going to leave them open, but that would have been just a little too much. And with the applique, there were some where the stitches were a little bit far away from each other, hand stitched. So I wanted to go ahead and keep this stable to add the stability to the quilt. And then let's take a second and let's look at these borders on the side over here. So over here on the side border, what I like this fun design that we drew out and then we quilted. It was a very basic sash design that we made wider. And then of course I added the 1/2 inch here and then the outer border. So we made a border within a border. Same with this white. I love the keys that we put in here, and same thing, 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch in. I just think that that frames this so well. So all in all, for this flyover, as we look at this quilt, I think it's a winner chicken dinner. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that, and as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we will see you on the next quilt. Bye everybody.